Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's having such an awesome day and has had an amazing week. I know there's been a lot of rain this week, but hopefully this weekend we'll have some nicer weather. So today we're going to start with talking about reading technical text. And we've talked about this a little bit before when we talked about the steps to making a peanut butter and jelly and why it's important to follow the steps. And then we're going to end it with a short video on historical text, just so we can cover all of the bases. So, some vocabulary review. So, a technical text explains how to do something or how something works. They often talk about science and technology. They use maps, charts, diagrams, photographs, and steps in a process, and give headings to give information. What process is explained in this selection? We don't know because we haven't seen it yet. Which we're going to talk about using context clues again. Context clues are always important no matter what we're learning. So context clues are words near an unknown word that gives clues to its meanings. If you don't know what southernmost means, you could look it up in the next sentence, which tells you that the South Pole is on Antarctica. This can help you figure out that southernmost means the furthest south. Look at the term search engine under step 1. We can't see that. So steps in a process. Writers often organize text by describing steps in a process or stages of doing something. What I'm going to tell you to think back to the steps of making a peanut butter and jelly. You had to write down each step in the process to making a peanut butter and jelly. Sequence. We talked about sequence. Sequence words help connect ideas in a text. Sequence words like first, next, and last tell you the author is describing things in time order, so chronological order. Next, we have labels. Labels are a text feature that we've talked about in the past. Labels are short explanations that identify a picture or a graph and its parts. We're going to look at the map on a page and see the labels. Maps. A map can help you understand where a place is in relation to another place. Maybe they're close together, maybe they're far apart from each other. That is another text feature. So I want you to pause the video and ask yourself, what is the internet? Everybody knows what the internet is, right? And how do you use the internet to find information? Now, a lot of people use the internet to play games or to watch YouTube videos, maybe to play Minecraft, maybe to email their boss or email their teacher, maybe to do your Canvas assignments. You can use the internet for all kinds of things. But how do you use the internet to find information? We're going to figure that out today. So this is a technical text. It's going to tell us how to use technology and the steps to do it. So using the internet, let's see if I can find it right here. So using the internet, America is the most southern continent on Earth. The South Pole is located on Antarctica. It is so cold that a giant ice cap covers most of the continent all year round. Let's say you have to write a report on the ice cap in Antarctica. You head to a computer. One good source of information is the internet. The internet includes websites that offer information about a specific topic. However, there are many websites about Antarctica. You won't have time to read them all. So you start your research by using an online encyclopedia. And an encyclopedia tells you more about a topic. We're going to read everything on the page, so we're going to start by reading this caption. Use the internet to find out about any subject. So this is going to tell us how to get to an online encyclopedia. Step 1, search for an online encyclopedias. Open an internet search engine, or like Google, Yahoo, Bing, to find out about a subject. To find out about a subject, you need to use keywords. Keywords are phrases that describe information about the subject. A search engine will go through millions of websites looking for information that matches your keyword. Type encyclopedias in the box in your search engine and click go. The names of many different encyclopedias will appear on your screen. Find one you or your teacher know about. Click the link to it. Now look for a search box at the top of the page. Type ice cap into the search box and click go. You'll find a list of articles, pictures, and movies about the topic. Step 2. So notice how it's given us steps, and we have to do these in order because if we started at step 3, we wouldn't even know what we were doing. Step 2, we have to narrow our search. So when you want to know more about a topic, you can narrow your search. Perhaps you want to know more about the ice cap in Antarctica. First, look back at what you read in the encyclopedia. Then look for underline or colored word Antarctica. This is a link. We call that a hyperlink. When you click it, a page about Antarctica will open. If you do not see a link, go back to the search box and type in Antarctica. Step 3, find more resources. An encyclopedia is not the only place to find information. You can find information on many kinds of websites. To practice using other kinds of websites, go back to your internet search page. This time, type in the keywords ice cap Antarctica. Not all the information you find on the internet is correct. So how do you know which links to trust? Look for the web pages written by experts. Experts are people who know a lot about a subject. Their web addresses often end with .gov, .org, or .edu. If you need help, ask your teacher or your school librarian. They can give you a list of websites about a subject. You can also look in a book. It might list some websites you can use to find out more information. Turn to the next page to look at a trustworthy web page about Antarctica. So these are labels. This is labeling. This is Antarctica here. We're looking at the bottom of the Earth. The bottom of the Earth. So we see the ice cap here labeled Antarctica. And we see New Zealand there, South America, Africa. We see 3 oceans, the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific. It says Antarctica is the southernmost continent on Earth. The ice cap covers more than 90% of Antarctica. So let's use some photos. It says photographs can add more information to what's in the text. The photograph on this page shows what the ice cap of Antarctica looks like. How does this add information to what you've read? Antarctica. Antarctica is the southernmost continent on the planet. Covers almost 5.5 million square miles. That is huge. It is the 5th largest continent in the world. The word Antarctica means the opposite of Arctic. The Arctic is the area surrounding the North Pole, and Antarctica is the South Pole. Antarctica is the coldest. Oh, Siri was trying to give me more information about the South Pole. Antarctica is the coldest and the windiest place on Earth. Antarctica is the coldest and the windiest place on Earth. The average temperature is negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest temperature ever recorded was at the South Pole in 1983. The temperature on that day was negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That is way below freezing. It says, how does this add information to what you've read? Well, we needed to know what Antarctica looked like so that we could form a mental picture of what this might look like while we're reading. Ice cap. A giant sheet of ice covers 98% of Antarctica. The other 2% is bare rock. These rocky areas are called oases and are found along the coast. Almost 70% of all the world's fresh water is located in the ice sheet. However, the continent gets no rain and very little snow. The average thickness of the ice cap is 1.5 miles. The ice is not solid everywhere, however. At the edges of Antarctica, giant glaciers and chunks of ice constantly break off and fall into the ocean. These pieces of ice become icebergs. The icebergs are dangerous to ships because they may be hidden beneath the surface. They can cause great damage if a ship hits one. The icebergs slowly melt as they float into warmer waters. So we're going to look at some ask and answer questions. So it says readers ask and answer questions about a text to show they understand what they're reading. After reading the ice cap section, what are the areas of bare rock called in Antarctica? Pause the video and see if you can figure out that answer. And if you're back, it says these rocky areas are called oases, found along the coast. All right. Cause and effect. Cause and effect is the relationship that tells when one event causes another event to happen. The cause makes the effect happen, and the effect is what happens as a result. What is one effect of an iceberg? What is the effect? What is the effect of an iceberg slowly drifting into warmer water? Well, they slowly melt as they drift into warmer water. That is the effect. Slowly drifting, when they melt, that is being caused by them slowly drifting into warmer water. I'll go ahead and let you know today's code word is going to be soap. SOAP, soap. All right. Plant and animal life. Antarctica is almost empty of plants and animals. The temperature is too cold to sustain most life. However, some mosses, plants, and flowers grow in areas near the coast. These areas are not covered with ice. Over 40 different types of birds make Antarctica their home. One type of bird is the penguin, my favorite animal. Penguin varieties, such as the emperor and the chinstrap, live on the coast and on some of the islands in around Antarctica. They thrive in the cold climate. Seals and whales swim in the waters surrounding the ice cap. Cod and ice fish can also be found swimming in the cold waters. So it says ask and answer questions. What is a question you could ask yourself while reading the heading Plant and Animal Life? So without even reading any of this, after just reading Plant and Animal Life, one question that I might ask myself is what kind of plants live in Antarctica? Or what kind of animals live in Antarctica? Next, we have headings. Headings in a text tell the reader what each section of the text is about. How does the heading Plant and Animal Life help you understand what you're about to read? Pause the video and see if you can tell someone how the heading Plant and Animal Life lets you know what you're about to read about. Well, it tells you. It tells you that these next two paragraphs are going to be about the plants and animal life in Antarctica. So people, what does this heading people tell you about? It tells us that we're going to be reading about some people in Antarctica. People began exploring Antarctica in 1895. Two famous English explorers traveled to Antarctica between 1902 and 1950. Their names were Robert F. Scott and Henry Shackleton. Now, I want to just bring out the fact that this is also, where it's a technical text, this is also a historical text. And a historical text tells us about an event that happened in history. It gives us dates and names of people who are important to this event. And some names that we are talking about are Robert F. Scott and Henry Shackleton. Today, for your assignment, you're going to be reading a historical text about finding America, with dates and everything, just like this part. So this part of this technical text is also considered a historical text. And we're going to watch a short video at the end of this video here that will explain everything about a historical text. So they explored areas deep inside Antarctica. On December 14, 1911, Ronald Amundsen, probably said his name wrong, became the first person to reach the South Pole. Every year, hundreds of researchers and scientists travel to Antarctica to study the ice caps and climate. Scientists use tools to drill through the ice. By studying samples from the layers of ice, scientists learn more about climate change. Antarctica does not have any permanent residents, so no one really lives in Antarctica. That's because it's almost impossible to live in Antarctica's freezing temperatures, strong winds, and blizzards. Wow, we know what blizzards are because we just learned about blizzards too. So, comprehension check. Look back at the sample webpage using the internet, using the information on the webpage, write an effect next to each cause listed in the chart. So Antarctica has freezing temperatures, strong winds, and blizzards. What is an effect of that? Well, we just read, because it has freezing temperatures, strong winds, and blizzards, an effect is that many people can't live there. No one lives there permanently. No one lives in Antarctica. People can visit there, but not for long. What is the cause of ice covering 98% of the land? Well, if we look back at ice caps, it says a giant sheet of ice covers 98% of Antarctica. The other 2% is bare rock. So it tells us that the ice is not solid everywhere. This just gives us more information about it. Icebergs break off from the ice cap and enter the ocean. What is an effect of icebergs breaking off? Well, when they break off, they drift into the water. It says icebergs slowly melt as they float into warmer waters, and it gets very dangerous for ships here. Scientists travel there to study the ice cap and the climate. Well, if scientists study there, an effect of that is that they are learning more about uh, the ice cap, more about Antarctica. So our last little thing is, what is a historical text? I just gave you a little insight just a little bit ago that said that it has dates and everything, but this 54-second video is going to give us a little more information, and I'm going to turn this down because I'm going to read it as it says stuff on the screen. Historical text. So historical texts are informational texts about people, places, and events in the past or in history. Historical texts often explain why events happen. So we just learned why these scientists were trying to research more about Antarctica. So people read historical texts to learn about the past and how it affected the future. So cause and effect, how it affected the future. This says, for many years, thousands of immigrants have come to the United States in search of a better way of life. One interest point was Ellis Island, which is located in New York. It opened on January 1st, 1892, and closed November of 1954. As people entered the country, their names, ages, genders, countries of origin, and date of arrival were recorded. These records are still available today and tell many interesting stories about people they represent. So this text has dates in it, dates in the past. It says, I bet this text is a historical text because it tells about texts in history. So today, you guys are going to be reading a historical text about finding America. So when you get into Canvas, you are going to click on today's date, and you are going to find Finding America. So you'll read this text for Finding America with underlining, and then you're going to answer these questions. Who is Christopher Columbus? Some of you guys can probably answer this question without even reading, but I want you to read the text first. Describe the relationship between events of Columbus's voyages. What happened during the events that caused another thing to happen? How did Christopher Columbus's childhood lead to his discovery of America? What event occurred that allowed Columbus to finally set sail? And then describe his first voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. I want you to just tell us what it was like. And then you're going to put today's code word. Remember, I said it earlier. All right. After that, you're going to hit submit so that your teacher can give you some feedback. Bye, boys and girls. Have a good weekend.